Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast. Prepare for the SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, we've got Jacob, Aki, and Bri. How is everyone doing?
Oh, that reminds me. Before the show, Aki, I was asking if you were late because you were pooping.
No, I was playing a review game.
Of course you were.
Jacob is the one who's late for pooping.
No, actually, I
to
wasn't.
Be fair, I did. I was late once because I was pooing. So, you know. We can't just say it's only him. I did it once too.
I'm only late because I wasn't here last week. There you go.
You weren't late. You were here early.
Yeah, I was still here early.
Yeah. And you were still here last week, which is impressive.
I was. Yeah, I was. I
like a week earlier.
Yeah.
So mysterious.
Yeah. But now you're here. Absolutely. We're all together. Like a big happy family again.
So what's how is the what do you call it, the fair? I don't know what you call it.
Well, it's a more immersive experience. But yes, medieval recreation is essentially what I was doing, and really what I was doing personally was cooking and eating good food and camping outside in the cold and visiting old friends. So yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was considered medieval reenactment or LARPing or what it was.
Reenactment or recreation. Yeah.
Okay. So how fun was it? Have any good parties there that can't be discussed publicly?
Probably, but I didn't go to them because I was a total party pooper.
Oh.
I know.
Every party has a pooper. That's why we invited you. Party pooper. Party pooper.
And there's a song. Yeah, no, I was just, honestly, this is like a weird thing. I've been on this like health journey for the last couple years where everything's been like really up and down and mostly down. And one of the weird things was that I could not handle heat or cold in any amount of extreme. And by extreme, I mean anything between 60 and 75 degrees was okay. And anything else was not.
I relate to that.
So you felt basically what I feel like every day of my entire life. Awesome. And it sucks,
yeah,
don't
so
it?
This was actually the first time I got to go out and be outside and not like freezing instantaneously and like not being able to handle it and having to bail out to a hotel. I actually it hit the 30s the first night I was there, and I had a struggle with it, breathing through it and everything. But like I was actually able to camp outside and be in like the 40s and 50s and be relatively comfortable again. That was like amazing. So I didn't want to like push it too far, but I got to visit old friends and that was fun. So
nice.
That's definitely awesome.
Yeah.
Jacob, did you do anything nearly as cool in the past week? Or Aki?
No, sadly, I just got a permanent crown on my tooth finally, and I signed paperwork this morning that's going to get me a new AC and furnace for free. Yay. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting.
All the stress is almost finally gone. I can focus on Gunpla. And great news, because I said the word Gunpla. I remembered it. This morning, I got a email from Premium Bandai, which is one of the places where I buy my Gunpla, and the last of my Tall Geese suits is finally coming in, so I'll have the whole collection finally. It's gonna be shipped starting on the 29th, so it should be here a week or two later. I can't wait.
You'll be able to store it in an appropriate temperature-controlled environment.
Exactly. Oh my god. Hopefully. Maybe. We'll find out. Oh, I can't wait. I am so fucking excited. It is so fucking hot in my house right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, what happened? It was like really warm today. It was like 30 last night, and then today it got up in the mid 70s.
Yeah, it's been like in the 60s all week, and then today it was like high 70s, and I'm fucking miserable. I hate it. Ugh. So talking about things I hate, Jacob, what's been going on with you?
Wow.
I mean,
It was right there. I had to.
Not much, really. We took the kids to a Halloween parade tonight. That's
How'd that go?
I mean,
How much
they
candy
each got
did you steal from your kids?
none yet.
Yet.
Well, yeah,
That's
of
the
course.
keyword.
Almost
You have to
all of it later.
It's not theft, it's tithing. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's a tithing.
the dad tax.
Yep. For every piece you get, I get 3. That's the dad tax.
They each got like a plastic like grocery store bag full of candy
Nice.
each. So they made out pretty well.
I'd say so.
So what candy are you taking all of out of their bag?
Yeah, what is your go-to Halloween candy?
What is my go-to Halloween candy to steal out of my kids' bags?
Because we know there is one. Every dad has one or two.
Well, if we're going with chocolate stuff, then Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Milky Way, and Three Musketeers are all forfeit, and Kit Kat if I see it.
So most of the chocolates is what he's saying.
What about Twix? Do you care
I'm
about the
going to
left
say
or the
Twix.
right?
I'm a Twix guy.
Oh, that's true.
Can you tell
Twix
the
as
difference
well.
between
I only
left
want
and
the
right?
center Twix.
I had a small child who made a thing about that because we did trick or treating at the medieval event, and there was this kid that came up to the table and was like, "You only have right Twix. I like left Twix."
I mean,
children sometimes they're so gooberish.
I mean, maybe I don't.
Well, one of them has red text and one of them has black text. So
I think we got gypped. The bag only had right Twix. Like I started looking through all of
that's
them.
bullshit.
They were only right Twix. Yeah.
come on, Twix, get your shit together.
But for non-chocolate candies and anything like gummy, like dots, gummy bears, gummy worms, all that kind of shit, I'm coming for it. So,
Fun Dip. Are you a Fun Dip fan?
when I was in 7th grade, I was. But that was really the only time I was ever really big into Fun Dip. For some reason, it was huge in my middle school, and it was right about the time that my parents discovered BJ's Wholesale Club. And that Christmas, they gave me like a case of Fun Dip, and I immediately hated Fun Dip because holy shit, that was too much.
Someone
You
sent me
still
10
have that
pounds
case.
of Smarties for Christmas last year.
Wow.
And I still don't hate them. I'm still utterly addicted to them. Anyway.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, the thing is with Fun Dip, though, is that it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Because, like, I mean, it's like, you know, you have to keep dipping the stick and stuff like that. Smarties just open it up.
Whoa. Careful.
Everyone knows you use a straw and you suck it up. Preferably not nasally.
I was about to say, are we on the same type of candy here at this point?
I'm going to be honest.
Lines of Fun Dip.
Everyone's going to be completely disappointed with me yet again for like
we've always
time.
Yeah, we've always been disappointed with you.
I don't know what Fun Dip is.
Really?
Yeah,
I had to introduce you to
no
Fun Dip.
idea what that is.
No, you don't need to introduce Aki to Fun Dip. Jesus.
Yeah, we do.
Do you know what a pixie? Shut up. Do you know what a pixie stick is?
Yes.
Okay. Imagine that there's like you take like this like little candy stick that doesn't actually taste like anything. You
Tastes
lick
like
it
chalk.
and then you dip it. Yeah, it kind of tastes like chalk.
Yeah.
You dip it into the pixie stick dust and then you just lick it off of that.
Why the extra step? Just open the.
Because they have to sell crap, and also one of the flavors is color changing. Like it
Ooh.
reacts to like the saliva or whatever, and so it goes from blue to green, or vice versa. I forget.
Okay,
It's been
that's
a while.
cool. Never mind. I understand now. That sounds kind of cool.
And the chalk has kind of a vanilla-ish flavor to it. It's not just pure chalk.
I don't recall it actually having a flavor.
I feel like there needs to be some sort of, oral component, a mouthfeel, if you will. You can't just shove the powdered sugar in your mouth. And
Yeah,
so this
you just
gives
can't
you
shove that.
that's something to suck
You just
on.
can't
Yeah.
shove. you just can't shove that stick right in your mouth. You
Well,
know,
you can lick the stick down to like a point and make it like a little shiv.
So that's why they made it. Okay.
Down to so you're gonna lick the stick down to the base of it to make a shiv. Okay. Uh-huh.
As long as I get to stab somebody, it's worth it.
See? I've sold her on every level. We're going to have to get her some fun dip now.
God. All right. Should we get to news for the week?
Sure.
Murder and blowjobs. A new discussion on fun dip.
There goes our monetization this episode.
I'm on the show. There wasn't going to be any fucking monetization.
All you were going to... Yeah, you were going to get like 0.0003 cents.
Hey, it adds up. One of these days, I'm going to get a check
really
for
doesn't.
like $4.
I will hand you a check for $4.
Sweet. I told you I'm going to get a check for $4. And
Eventually, it's going to happen.
fell right into my hands. Now I get $4. Sweet. In a reorganization, Sarah Bond has been named the president of Xbox.
I don't actually know who that is, so it doesn't.
She joined the company in 2017, and she's already president of Xbox. That's how highly they view her.
Nice.
Like she testified against the FTC in the whole court case. They trusted her to do that. So if she's there explaining to a judge what Xbox is, I think she's going to do a good job of explaining to customers what Xbox is, but we'll see how it goes. It's still cool that she's president.
Now, is she the person who some of this? Because I read a headline, and I don't know if this, like, obviously I didn't read the article. Is it her that some of the studios are now directly reporting to just her?
I believe that is Matt Booty. He's being promoted to president of game content in studios, including all of ZeniMax.
Okay, I think that's what the thing was saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole leadership
it was ZeniMax and somebody else. Was it Bethesda?
That is ZeniMax. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Forgot.
And then, of course, Bobby Cockdick remains on as Activision CEO until the end of the year.
Did you call him Cockdick?
Maybe.
Nicer than what I would have called the cocksucker, but...
Cox. That's all we're going to discuss this episode.
I'd like to say you technically are the one who started it when you said something about licking your stick.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, just because I had some ribs removed. Like,
Jesus Christ. Speaking of Xbox, there's a big showcase, a third-party showcase. Bri, you have all the details on that, correct?
I have some details on that.
Talk to us. Tell us what went down at the Xbox third-party showcase.
So we had a whole bunch of
whatever the hell.
Partner Preview Showcase. Yeah. So it started out with a new trailer for Like a Dragon's Infinite Wealth. It's like a new game mode. I'm not really sure. I'm not as familiar with the series, so I'm not sure exactly what that was all about. But it looked pretty.
Well, what was the game mode?
I really don't know how to explain it. I'm going to be super honest. It's
called Dodongo Island.
Dondoko Island. I'm reading it now.
Dondoko.
Yes, there you go. So close. I still am not. Yeah, it's going to have island building and social fun. It's like a weird fantasy island thing.
Is it going to be? So, are we talking like DOA?
Beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminded me a little bit of something like that. But you have to deal with like building facilities, look after your guests. So I don't know, kind of like a simulation. Someone here in another article had mentioned something about Animal Crossing, which I also don't know anything about. So yeah, I did not understand. I've never played Animal Crossing.
I would give stupid amounts of money for an Animal Crossing like game that only starred the Yakuza series. That would be amazing.
This might be it.
Yeah, that's what this is looking like, because I'm looking at the trailer right now, and I'm actually kind of excited for this. This looks kind of good.
Yeah, Tom Nook just breaks your kneecaps instead of like,
Give me my fucking money.
All right. Well, I'm glad
That'd be
you guys
amazing.
at least understood that better than I did, because that went right over my head. Great way to start, right?
Have you never played any of the Yakuza games?
I have played like 10 minutes of Zero, and
Oh my god, you're missing out.
Yeah, I know.
You need to start playing them.
It's
They're
on my
amazing.
list. I had to get to 2 million gamer score first. Certain things got pushed to the wayside. I'm just,
Okay,
you know.
that's understandable. Those are some long
Right?
fucking games.
Right.
There-
It's a lot
Some
of
of the
stuff.
shit, and it's hard too if you want all
Right.
the achievements. 100%
Exactly.
saves on that. Oh my god, I'm never gonna get that.
And
Makes me
I
sad.
still have all the Final Fantasy games I got to play and replay, and you know, I mean, I got a lot on my list to do now. All
yeah,
right.
because honestly, I love Final Fantasy. Yakuza's better
Mm-hmm.
I'm
significantly.
going to disagree there. But anyway, what else happened at
yeah,
the
so-
showcase?
Next up was an announcement for Ikaro Will Not Die, which is like a roguelite parkour shooter thing. It's listed as being the spiritual successor to the Velocity series. This is by, looks like Future Lab, the Power Wash Simulator developers.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember Velocity too well, but this
I'm
one
not
I'm
looks
not
familiar with
pretty
that
familiar
series
interesting.
either. Yeah, I was not familiar with that one. Next up was, Still Wakes the Deep, which is a first-person horror that we get to see like a teaser trailer of some gameplay where you're running through like a deep sea oil rig, and there's some sort of horror monster something, and there's a lot of swearing and running around in water and broken bits of metal and squeezing through things, and it was very much about the tension, and it looked very interesting, and I want to know more.
Me too. This looks pretty cool.
And it's from the Chinese room who did Dear Esther.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, then I'm already sold on this then. All right.
Yeah, and it looks very pretty too. So, next up, we get to see some RoboCop Rogue City gameplay.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
That
Just hell yeah, that's it. No one has
I know.
anything else.
and
Just hell yeah.
I didn't watch
and
it. I'm
released
just
really
excited.
soon, November
Oh,
2nd.
yeah,
I believe
brother.
is the release date. So that's coming out really soon.
I'd
Next
buy
up,
that for $1.
well,
Well,
yes, I'm sure
a
it's
few
more than
bucks
$1.
more. Yeah.
You guys have seen RoboCop, right?
Yes,
Not in a long time.
It's been a long time though.
Okay. Just
Oh,
whatever.
I'm just here to shit on your jokes, Jacob.
Sad.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
All right. So next up was a social interactions trailer to help explain further what the Dungeons of Hinterberg is all about. It's a game that they described as you're like a dungeon crawler by day, but in order to deepen your skills and your ability to find treasures in the dungeons, you'll need to work on your social interactions, deepen your friendships with other people in the community to help that along.
It's got a really, really cool visual style to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand the whole of the game concept, but it looked really pretty for sure. And I was curious how that would work if it was like a Moonlight lighter kind of game where you're doing some dungeon delves or you know how that all works. I'm curious to see what that one's all about. Definitely need to look into it more. Next, we get to see an announcement for the sequel to Spirit of the North.
Ooh.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fox in the snow all over again.
Very nice.
So Spirit of the North 2, no announcement or no date on the announcement, just an announcement in general.
To Spirit, to North.
Yes. No, it's just Spirit of the North 2 so far.
Electric
I
Boogaloo.
To Spirit, to North better.
I know. That's pretty awesome. Then to look at extra pretty stuff, we get to see the first in-engine look at Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater.
Yes.
People are going nuts for this.
So
I got super excited.
It was pretty cool. Looked and they got to proudly, parade their Unreal Engine 5 logo at the end to show you all the cool things they're doing with, crawling along the edge of cliffs and all sorts of good stuff. The crocodile or whatever at the end, I don't remember if it was an alligator or a crocodile. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just looking at how pretty everything was.
Somebody slept through their biology classes.
Oh my gosh.
Aki, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
Jacob.
I know you're excited about that one.
It's how I always wanted it to look. I am so fucking excited because my introduction to the Metal Gear series was with what was it? The one that came out right before 5, but was like that little prequel.
4?
No, the prequel demo,
Ground
whatever
Zeroes.
the fuck it was. Yeah, Ground Zeroes. That was my introduction to it. So then I was like, oh, I really like this. And I went and got the HD collection. I was like, oh, I really wish they looked like that game, like Ground Zeroes did, because these are awesome. So this is everything I've ever wanted for this game, was just an upgraded visual style. I'm so fucking excited for this. I cannot wait.
Awesome.
Very cool. What else did they show off?
All right, getting towards the end of the list here. Let's see. Next up was a medieval sim and building game coming to Game Pass PC called Manor Lords. It'll be launching. It'll also be coming later to console. It looked like a combination of builder and also combat sim. So you'd be able to like grow some troops from your local area and maybe combat others is what it kind of looked like from some of it. But you get to
Didn't
manage
really do much
and
for
build.
me.
Yeah, you know,
I'll be honest,
I'm
I
kind
don't know.
of picky about some of my stuff. I think that one looked interesting enough. I would at least give it a look, being that it's on Game Pass. That's just me.
When it hits console, I'll give it a look, but just being on PC, it loses points for me. I don't want to play PC.
Fair. That's fair. Sometimes I like playing it on PC first and then not worrying, like, you know, I can, sometimes I don't always have achievements because it's not required or whatever. Like, I can just like play the thing and see if I like it. And then when it's on console, I can like dive in if I was enjoying it. So, after that was, let's see, the open beta is now open for the finals.
I'm hearing a lot of people go nuts about this one. What
it's like
is the final?
Competitive parkour arena shooter.
Oh man,
I mean,
did
I'm
that
just
lose me so fast.
I don't know how else to describe what I saw. It's a shooter. It's got this parkour element looking thing to it. It looked wild. And then, you know, it's all about seeing who makes it to the finals. You know, hence the name. And you get like colorful costumes. You can, you know, have like wild panda heads and
So it's a live service game that will shut down in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
You think it's going to last a year and a half?
The open beta is available as of today. So if you are interested in that sort of game, you can go check it out and see if it's for you.
Meh.
Yeah.
Hope it works out for them, but I worry about live service games anymore.
Same.
But this one has hype, so maybe it'll work out for them.
Well, you know, there's still a huge market for people who just like competitive shooters, and that is what it looks like. So, yeah, with a little bit of a twist, maybe. Next up, got to see the new footage for Ark Survival Ascended, which I know they've delayed and pissed a lot of people off with on their way to where they are now, but it looks fucking gorgeous. All right. So it's I guess it's technically like a remake of the original game is what it's
That's what I thought they said it was, yeah.
Yeah, but then they shut down the servers for the old game and I don't know. But I got to see some new footage for that, and it really does. It looks gorgeous. If it plays half as well, it might be worth it.
That's another game I never got into. I hate games where you can create something and then go away for a while and come back and someone destroyed it all.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah,
that's a hard pass.
Fair.
Griefers suck.
Yes, they do. Last, and certainly not least, there was a new Alan Wake trailer.
Yeah.
With more exciting footage, a little bit further than just the hype trailer.
Aki, do you have something you'd like to say about Alan Wake 2?
I need it in my life. They can inject that directly into my veins. I'd be happy. I will be happy with it.
Tomorrow we can all play Alan Wake 2. Finally.
Sadly,
Of
I will not
course.
be able to. Even if I could afford it right now, I have so many reviews that I couldn't play it right now, and I am so fucking bummed.
I have a related piece of news to add on to the end of that. This is not about the showcase, but just about Alan Wake 2, if you don't mind me just leading into that. So it was mentioned today in passing in my news feed that they will be adding some features to Alan Wake 2 later on down the road, which means they neglected to put them in the first place. There is no nightmare mode right now. They will be adding the nightmare mode with the extra stuff, just like in the original game, where you'll find more rare pieces of or pages of the book and or the manuscript and stuff like that. And then the new game plus mode will be added down the road. So that's things that they sacrificed to make sure that they could get the game out in the right quality on time.
No,
is what it sounds like. But
I'd
we
have
will
been
be
fine
getting
with
them.
Delaying it another year. I'd have been okay. Like, I don't care. Just give me the game.
Those will be added later. They're on their roadmap for sometime
they have
soonish.
2 DLCs planned as well, don't they?
Yes, I believe they do. So yeah, I'm
there's a
excited to see
pre-order
more about it.
bonus. Maybe
Cool.
I'll have to
Well,
play it
some
tonight.
other news. Spider-Man 2 sold 2.5 million units in the first day.
Damn, nice.
Holy shit. That's insane.
Huh.
Congrats to them. That's pretty awesome.
And
Those numbers are crazy.
Also, congrats to my buddy Torin. He designed the Brooklyn 2099 suit for Spider-Man.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Let's see here. The Final Fantasy XIV beta slated to hit Xbox in early 2024 in either January or February. So if you're excited about 14 hitting Xbox, just a few months away, and I don't know if it's an open or closed beta, but I'm sure they'll start with closed and then work into an open beta. But it's coming. It's getting close.
All right.
Cool.
I can't wait. I'm excited to resub to this game on Xbox and finally sit down and give it some real time, because I never enjoy playing things on PlayStation. I hate the controller so much.
Understandable.
I hate the DualShock. I hate the analog stick placement on it. It's so uncomfortable for me. Another game coming to Xbox. Baldur's Gate 3 director confirmed that the game will be coming to Xbox before the end of the year. There's still no date, but reconfirming it's on the way.
Very nice. That'll be real good. People are going to enjoy that.
Something else? Oh, go ahead.
I just hope they keep the glitch that showed up in the original one where everyone was just constantly horny. I just hope that ends up being in it when it first comes in, because it makes the romances real fast. There was an entire speed run section for it. That was how fast can you get in someone's pants, and I think the fastest was like a little over 3 minutes from starting the game.
Good lord.
Yeah, there was a bug for so many of them. Everyone can finally appreciate Karlach, one of the best girl in the entire game, and I can't wait. It'll be great.
Something else that is great. Mario Party 3 is hitting Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack today. Yay.
Hey, cool.
Also today was the Game Pass lineup. Did y'all see everything that hit today?
Yes.
No.
Frog Detective, Mineko's Night Market, and Dead Space hit EA Play.
Oh, wow. Okay. I know what I need to go and download today.
Frog Detective, right?
That too, but not the first thing on my list.
Frog Detective is so cute. I played it on PC. Sadly, it's not a stack like we thought it was going to be based on, that one website. But that's okay, because I got to convince someone else to play it and relive all of the joy through the little comments that they made while they were playing it. Yay.
Nice.
It is
Also
a joyful game.
I know Jacob's excited about this one. Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster from Night Dive, going to be releasing February 28th.
Hell yeah, I'm so excited. I love Dark Forces. I played that game so damn much when I was in high school. That and Jedi Knight. So I'm really looking forward to throwing on the cheats and just annihilating everyone.
I wonder if cheats will disable achievements.
Maybe, but who cares?
Yeah.
I'll just blast them all with the railgun and the Dark Trooper gun.
Something else allegedly releasing in the same time frame, Skull and Bones now has a Q4 fiscal 2023 to 2024 release date. So somewhere in the January to March range, allegedly.
Sure.
I canceled my pre-order at GameStop. They're like, why are you canceling? I'm like, because it's never coming out.
Even if at this point, like...
Even if it does, it's never going to meet everyone's expectations.
No.
Like, it's just...
Yeah. I was so hyped for that when it was first announced. That was so long ago. I lived in a different house and I remember watching it. And gosh, that was a long time ago.
Back in my day, when we first saw the trailer.
Back when we lived in the house with all the mold and we almost died.
Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 Remake is just about 5.5 million units sold, while Street Fighter 6 is just about at 2.5 million. So Capcom doing pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then a little bit of bad news. Warhammer Quest was delisted from Steam.
Oh, the shame, the pity.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
The game. Rocksmith is now officially delisted as well. And the DLC is dropping like flies. They have a list on the Ubisoft website that shows what songs are dropping and when. So if there's anything you want, get it before it's gone. Once it's gone for good. And I've learned the hard way that you don't want to miss out on songs that you really want. Because I don't have the Naked Brothers band in Rock Band 4. It's delisted, and I'll never get it.
Is there somebody that we could talk to over at Harmonix that, like, we just be like,
there's no way to get it.
Could you just do Joe a solid and just get the royalties for like one day or something? And then Joe forgets to log on that day.
Son of a bitch. Last bit of news I have, Sony's Media Molecule Studio is laying off 15 to 20% of its workforce, totaling around 20 people. The layoffs continue this year. Yeah. Yeah, that's the news I have. Aki, what have you got?
All I had was the Metal Gear Solid 3 thing.
GG. Bree, what else have you got?
I just, oh my goodness, sorry, cat attack. I that's my news though. I just started reading into this right before we started about an update for expanded keyboard mapping capabilities on Elite and adaptive controllers. Looks like it'll be a help for PC gaming for places where there's little options or no controller support, as one of the reasons why this is happening. May also be some updated stuff for regular controllers. Also with that update are going to be some options for captures being able to be uploaded instantly into Clipchamp for easy direct edits. I'm guessing this has something to do with their decision to hold clips for less time on their servers.
Yeah, which is
maybe
some bullshit.
That'll allow you to seamlessly move your stuff and edit them elsewhere so that you can then store them on your own servers or whatever if that's what you want to do. I don't know.
I have everything set to just automatically upload to my OneDrive.
Yeah, I gotta go through those settings and delete some old stuff and backups and stuff I want. We have till the end of the year, I think, or till like early January to back up your stuff. Otherwise, it's the most recent. What is it? 90 days, and then everything else gets deleted. Yeah,
that's so stupid that they're making that change. But Ashley subscribes to like the Office 365 or Microsoft 365, whatever the hell it is. I have like a terabyte of OneDrive space now.
Oh, nice.
So bring that shit the fuck on. I'm going to make all the clips now.
Yep. My other piece of news is the Fallout TV show has a date for April 12th, coming to Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's going to be a drama, a comedy, or something in the middle. I hope that it's going to be something in the middle, like a dramedy, if you will. But I was excited to see that it has Cal MacLachlan in it. That's my happy place. So, I mean, there's other good people in the cast, I'm sure. I was like, ooh, Cal. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's my news.
Cool. Jacob, what have you got?
She actually just took the only news story that I had. I was going to talk about the Fallout show, so
we'll talk more about
Walton
it.
Goggins is in it too.
Yeah, there you go.
I like him. So nothing else? That's all the news we got?
No, that was it.
Okay. All right. Time for reviews. You ready for these?
Sure, bitch. Let's do this.
Bri, are you ready? Because you got 3 in a row before you got to get out of here and do your own thing.
And do my own thing.
Yeah, you crazy. But first game to talk about tonight is Kona 2 Brume, developed by Parabole, published by Ravenscourt, released October 18th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC for $29.99. Northern Quebec, 1970. A bizarre miss, the Brume or Brume, I don't know how it's pronounced. Do they say it in the game?
I don't know that they do. I just called it the Brume.
Well, the Brume is disconnecting a royal mining village from its quiet reality. Step into the shoes of Detective Carl Albert as he unfolds the mysteries haunting the region while battling for his own survival. Bri, tell us about your time in Kona 2.
Right, so Carl Faubert, just because this is, Canadian storytelling here, there's a lot of French.
Yeah,
I know, you're right. But
we should know
then
him.
your assumption to say Brume was also like a fair assumption given that. So,
Yeah, I never get pronunciations right, ever.
Oh, that's okay.
It's what I do.
So yeah, first thing I would say is spoiler warning, because this is both a sequel and very specifically, this game starts minutes after the events of the first game. So I can talk around some things, but I'm going to ruin some things here probably a little bit for some people if you haven't played the first one. But good news, if you haven't played the first one, you could still play this one without playing the first one. I mean, I would highly recommend you go play the first one if you think you would be interested in this sort of game. But they actually really neatly sum up the events of the first game in the intro, in the journal, and it just jumps right into the next segment, and that really made this game feel like it was not even a sequel. It was just like the rest of the game that we didn't have before. And really kind of my bigger picture of the entire experience is that I feel like this game was the game they really wanted to make the first time around, but they didn't have the budget or the scope or the staff or the something to do what they wanted to do with it. And so this game is the bigger, more expansive storytelling experience that they wanted to give us with the original Kona. And then we finally get to really get some answers that we didn't get in the first game. So it's a very narrative, exploration-driven game. You also have a narrator. You actually get the choice to have the narration in English or in French. And it's, voice-acted, lovely narration. You can have subtitles on and all that, too, if you need it. But yeah, our detective is kind of unwittingly on a case that he started in the first game. He's hired by a wealthy mining company owner to investigate some vandalism, and ends up being a murder investigation that turns even weirder by the end. And so in this, we're kind of picking up, like I said, exactly where we left off. Still, one of the big things too in this game is the survival elements. You're out in this freak snowstorm, the Brume, really, and you've got to stay warm. You've got to stay dry. You've got to, find the ways, the scrape together wood and matches and things like that. It is not a harsh. There are different levels of difficulty, but it is not like a harsh survival game. It's really more focused on the narrative, the exploration, that feeling of desolation in the middle of, the snowy lands and not knowing what to do or where to go. And you have your journal and you have your Polaroid camera and you're just going around trying to solve the mystery of what's going on. And so we start out in the snow yet again, crawling around, kind of trying to figure out how we need to do things. And immediately we start seeing strange animals and, strange behaviors, and almost everybody is missing. But then we find our charges, mansion, and it's been abandoned and it's been ripped apart. And we're seeing all of the signs of violence from something unnatural, something that maybe we've met before. And after you get through all that investigation, you find a radio signal. You finally find someone else. And it was so rare in the first game to find actual people to talk to. And so again, it's you've got that rare feeling here. And we run into some of the survivors, and that opens up the game on a whole new level. There's just so much more expansive areas to discover things in, to find all the collectibles. And really the important thing, I think, for me, there's some light puzzle. When I say light puzzle elements, there's a fair amount of puzzle elements involved in going back and forth and trying to solve certain aspects as you go through the game. Some of them, as you're dealing with these hallucinations or visions, and some more tangibly as you're dealing with broken down machinery and things that you come across that are kind of key to the story, and figuring out what really is behind all of this, why the storm happened, why the supernatural or seemingly supernatural things are happening, and just what it's really all about. Other things I would say is just, again, it's more than just this is the sequel. It's really this was the game that they really wanted to make if they could have. And so there's a lot of quality of life things, first person animations are much more fluid and keeping with the expectations of what we feel like games like this should be like now. Fires are easier to make. You don't have to worry about some of the things that you had to for survival elements. It's a lot more fluid. And you're really able to find a good balance between the survival elements and the exploration and, digging up that story through your journal and your photos. There is a compass display at the top of the screen and a beautiful map. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I love it. Good quality of life. The inventory hotbar is a little different. But once I got used to it, I really enjoyed it. It's very visual, and but it's very linear, and you just kind of scroll through your stuff. There's just a lot of good, what I would call quality of life concepts going into making it a game that is familiar and something we already enjoyed, but improving it to, hey, this is a new game, for modern everything. There's some weird. There was an option to turn off autosave, because if you just want to make it that hard on yourself, you can.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Some people hate themselves.
I mean, if you really want to make that difficulty level even extra, I just started a playthrough on the hardest difficulty, because I'm going for the full completion. I really enjoyed this game. That said, because there's a lot of collectibles, I did run into some bad things, and some of that has already been patched or is in the process of being patched. I've been also paying attention on the Steam page to the patch notes there, because that's sometimes an easier way to find out what's going on with the developers, and they seem to be really responsive about all of that. So some of the issues that I ran into have already been patched, but I did run into some achievement issues. When I went through on my second playthrough, some of those are already fixed, which is fabulous. But there were some other things, like some occasional places where I got stuck in walls or couldn't figure out how to make progression on the easy level, which might have made more sense if I were on the hard level. So just some weird little nitpicky things in that regard. But, getting stuck in walls sometimes, or getting kind of almost soft locked in a situation, I eventually found my way through it. But that was a little frustrating in some cases. I'm not sure if they've gotten all of the things, but most of the ones that I ran into are on the patch list, so hopefully that'll be on consoles soon too. I know they've been patched on PC. Good stuff. Again, this felt more like a complete story. We finally, like, the ending of the first game is a little abrupt. That's all I'm going to say. and it's not satisfying in that regard. And this feels like it has a lot more satisfying of an ending where we finally get to finish our case and get some answers. And that was so satisfying, so good. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's a really,
like you enjoyed this one.
I really enjoyed this one. I'm on my second playthrough. I'm enjoying it just as much. So, like I said, I'm playing it on the hardest mode now. I went through on normal the first time just to make sure that I could get through it fast enough to get to review time. But I had enough time to go start on the hard and just again I wanted to check the the patches and see that they were going through and the achievements were actually working like they were supposed to. So that seems to have gone through. A lot of that stuff will be fixed with that first patch and maybe a second patch that will be coming. So yeah.
Very good. Clocks in at $29.99. What are your thoughts?
Whew. So I would say it's absolutely worth it, but if you're looking at the price of the original, it is like double the price, but it is also more than double the game. So again, if you liked the first one, this is such a great improvement. It's an absolute buy it for me. Yeah.
Cool. All right, next up, World of Horror, developed by panstasz, published by Ysbryd Games and Playism, released out of early access October 19th on Steam for $19.99. Experience the quiet terror of this one-bit love letter to Junji Ito and H.P. Lovecraft. Navigate a hellish roguelite reality with turn-based combat and unforgiving choices. Experiment with your deck of event cards to discover new forms of cosmic horror. In every playthrough, the inevitable awaits. Bri, what is World of Horror?
What is World of Horror? It is a text adventure of sorts with the look and feel of the kind of adventure game you might find on like an old DOS 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Quick correction, is not on console that I'm seeing. It's on PC game preview.
PC. Yes, okay. Yes.
All right. That's what threw me off. All right.
Gotcha. So your options are 2-bit or 1-bit, black and white to start with. You got some other classic color palettes like, Game Boy green, black, green and black. You've got the sepia color. And then there's like this wild pile of other colors. I ended up going with a purple and red because it was like bloody red and it was easy on my eyes that way. Because man, black and white could just kill me, and that green, oh my goodness, no! How did we do that? Why are we not all blind? We are blind.
Speak for yourself.
I know. But yeah, so the game like the style of game it is modeled after is set in the 90s, and this is all emerging new technology like brick cell phones and the emergence of the internet. And the old gods, the eldritch gods, they are using it to reemerge. They're using the technology against us. So we're like we're like a psychic detective. I don't know how else to explain it. Like a detective who deals in supernatural things, and not necessarily a psychic detective. But we've come to this town, and we are investigating all the strange occurrences that go on. But basically, the game is kind of set up like. You have a little story that you pick up like off a bulletin board of like, here's the weird things happening in the town. And they give you a starter story to help you understand. It's like a little tutorial story. And it's, what is it called? Hold on. Let me find my notes here. Something about scissors. It's like the scissor lady. Hold on. School scissors. There we go. School scissors. And there's this, it's like part text adventure, part like, choose your own adventure with a little hint of like D&D. We have to explore the town and the stories with our wits. We've got some skills we learn, dwindling sanity. There's some like RPG stats. We have like strength, dex, perception, but then there's also horror stats like doom and injury. Those are statistics that you have in there. You get some XP as you progress through and you're fighting the different monsters. You get different equipment you can use, like food and healing items, ritual items to conduct the rituals. So the school scissors story, you start out and you're in a school and you've got some notes of like your buddy who is supposed to help with the ritual, who's totally not there and has bailed on you, is like, oh, hey, there's this symbol. And if you draw it right, you're fine. If not, you're screwed. And I decided to put the candles in like the pool or something. So you have to go around, and as you're like running through looking for, based on the clues of the note he left you, to go find the ritual candles and find the right, combination of letters and symbols and stuff to make this sigil that you need. Meanwhile, you're trying to dodge the creepy scissor lady who's gonna like cut your mouth open with scissors or something if you talk too loudly. And then you run into like other creepy monsters as you're going around, and you get into combat with them if you make poor choices. And combat is like, if you remember to equip something because you bothered to look in your inventory, you're lucky. If not, you can try looking around for an improvised weapon like a broken bottle or a bat or something. And then you can take like an action to equip something. And then you set up actions. So you like kick, you can use your weapon, and you can do something else, or you can do all 3 kicks, or all 3, hitting with your weapon, or you can take an action to look for something. So you have like 3 actions per turn. And ultimately, it's kind of like rolling the dice. It kind of it has that vibe of like playing a D&D game or something like that, but it's, all horror. And there's a bunch of different stories you go through that you pick up, and hopefully you survive to the end of, but I did not survive a lot. And you know what? I loved that. I died so much, but then you get to replay the stories, and they have different endings, and they have different paths along the way. There's one about found footage, about some local spooky folklore, Blair Witch kind of thing, but Japanese, because of course this is all Japanese horror. There's a missing person under some suspicious circumstances. There's a woman who is strangled with no sign of forced entry, no hint of a killer. And then there's randomized events like the cards that it mentioned in the intro. There's randomized events that happen as you progress through your different mysteries that you're trying to like solve. You're trying to resolve these different mysteries as you go along. And if you resolve them well enough, you might survive and not let the old one rise. But along the way, you'll have different randomized events. It's kind of like the Oregon Trail of Japanese horror. So you might just like occasionally, get bit by a dog that's rabid or something. Or I don't even know. There's
or you have to ford the river,
Yeah. But think Japanese horror. Like Oregon Trail, but Japanese horror. As you encounter new monsters, you unlock them in the bestiary, so that kind of persists along your playthroughs. It's pretty cool to like see all the different types of monsters and the descriptions for them. But yeah, it was kind of brutal, and I don't think I ever got to a point where I was like surviving easily through varying versions of my stories and not letting the old one live. But I got most of the keys on the lighthouse and was not able to complete the final ritual. I know. But all in all, like really good retro adventure. It had like a nod to kind of the minimalist horror vibe. It's not about the gore. It's about the void, the spaces in between, the anticipation of what could happen. Like there are some elements of that in the storytelling that were like really well present and I enjoyed. And then there was the absolute just like gore and horror and shock. Like it was a good blend.
And it's crazy because it was drawn 100% in MS Paint.
Right.
That's ridiculous. The game looks stylish and creepy as hell with some of these images in the game.
Color palettes and all those other things combined. The other thing I would say is it does start to feel kind of busy after a while on the screen. Like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of coming at you, especially during like a combat sequence. That would be my only gripe, is that like there were times where it felt a little too busy, but since they're trying to do everything through text, like there's a certain element of that I think I expect to be, present.
No.
So
I love that the mature content description on Steam includes the line, The game includes casual usage of cigarettes. Just casual usage.
It's the 90s. I mean, of course. Just casually.
I wish I could play this game so bad.
Well, I think you can, Aki. It might run on your system.
Yeah, it'll run on very, very little.
Distinct visual style would prevent me from being able to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's why I said no to it in the first place.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, it clocks in at $20. What are your thoughts?
I would say, heck yeah. That's a buy it.
Cool. All right, you got one more. That's Kitten Island, developed by Maria, published by Phoenix Reborn Games, released October 19th on Xbox One and Series X and S for $4.99. Kitten Island is an exciting and adorable platformer game where players control a cute kitten. They journey through various levels in 3 distinct worlds. Bri, what is Kitten Island?
Well, it's a cute cat that you use to platform through coin blocks, moving platforms, disappearing blocks. You've got some power-ups that make you invincible. It's kind of like a love letter to Mario, but you get a cute cat leaping all about, and the animation is very cute. You get a bunch of different enemy types that a normal cat would totally fight in the world, like snakes and bats and scorpions and spiders. There's lots of bonus items to collect crystals and coins, and in order to end the level, at the end, you just have to find the yarn ball. There are 15 levels to explore and perfect.
So not a lot.
Not a lot. It is a very short love letter to cats and old platformers. I enjoyed the cat leaping animation, as I mentioned. I liked that the meowing noises were not just the exact same noise. There was a couple of variations that varied based on certain actions. It was just
unlike the SML podcast where we have, and that's it.
That's it. It's very cute though. The game is pretty generous with its health and OneUp stars, or OneUps and superstars. It's just a short and sweet platformer with a cute cat.
It's $5. What do you say?
Definitely good for console achievement trophy type stuff for sure. I enjoyed my time with it, albeit short. I feel like $1 less would be, like a hell yeah. But I'd still say it's a buy it at that price if you are, looking for something kind of like a nice little throwback, or you're just looking for easy achievements.
Do you think it's cheap enough to qualify for, well, it's normally a different name, but because it's kind of a kid audience kind of game, we'll call it a flip it. Why not? Okay,
sure. Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it. Yeah. Why not?
Waiting for Aki to ruin things.
You have no idea. I've been staying quiet specifically because I know just constantly all I'm thinking is, I really want to say it. I know I can't. I really want to say it. I know I can't. All is going through my head right now.
All right. Well, Bri, that is it for you. Thank you so much for coming on, doing your thing. We will let you get going. What's on your docket for the night?
I am going to go be a pirate. Yarr.
Not in Skull and Bones.
not in Skull and Bones.
Womp womp.
Yep.
You have any final words?
I think this flu shot is taking effect. Whee!
Whee!
Have a good night.
Next game to talk about, Sword Art Online Last Recollection, developed by AQURIA, published by Bandai Namco, who also provided this code to us, released October 6th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC for $59.99. Based on Sword Art Online's War of the Underworld anime arc, a new story unfolds with tough challenges that await our beloved hero, Kirito, and his new friends. Players will unmask the Dark Knight and find out if Kirito and the crew will survive the relentless battling against the forces of the Dark Territory. Aki, what is Sword Art Online Last Recollection?
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know what Sword Art Online is, guess what? Go watch the anime, or else none of this is going to mean a damn thing to you. Because I haven't watched any of the anime in a while, and it only partially made sense to me. So, basically, the series is more or less about people getting trapped in video games in one way or another, and then Kirito being a badass and getting people out of them, usually by killing a lot of monsters and stuff in the game. So, yeah, the problem is, about half the time, he's the one who's fucking stuck. So, that's great. He's competent, totally. So, in this one, he's been... I believe he's trapped in this one. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't watched the anime. This takes partway through, I believe, the most recent anime. So that's great. The first 2 chapters are in the anime. And then from that point onwards, it's all brand new content. So, yeah. But you play as Kirito. He's, I believe, trapped in this new game. I don't know what it's called, because that's just not relevant. He treats the place like it's real. And basically, in the real world, this company that owns this game is trying to create a advanced murder robot, basically. By using, they're basically using the AI in this game world, in war, to make it learn how to kill really, really well. And Kirito's there to stop that from happening. And now, in this game, you're trying to go about creating peace between the human territory and the dark territory, which is just darker-skinned people and monsters. So, someone probably didn't think that through all the way. And yeah, so in this, you have, like always, all the people from all the prior games, because Kirito just is that kind of protagonist. Every girl wants him. Doesn't matter how old they are, they all want him. So he has 20 or so girls that followed him into this game, and you can have them in your party if you want, any of them. And he also has 3 people from this world that can be in his party, 2 on his side, and 1 that's from the Dark Territory, who came over and was like, hey, we want to make peace. And so you go to the Dark Territory to try and learn about this place and eventually create peace, hopefully. And obviously, because this is a video game, that does not go well. And you have to fight a lot of things and kill a lot of things, and it's fantastic. So, yeah. These games are not what I'd call quick games. Every last one of these, the worlds are MMOs, so the game treats it like it's an MMO. Even if Kirito acts like this is real life, because all the AIs see this as real life, because they're supposed to be that super advanced that they behave like real people. So it's not like they are like, oh, here's this quest, and that's their only line until you finish it. No, they actually act like real people and everything to the people in this world. So, you can kill them, kind of like in Skyrim. You can kill all the characters you want and ruin all the plot lines if you want. That's exactly how you can play these MMOs as well. So why he doesn't just kill this AI person, I don't know. I'll never understand him. But so basically, he's treating it like it's a real world, but the world that you are playing is still an MMO. So you still have, from point A to point B is still a pretty good distance, and there's a lot of shit in your way. And it may not have a whole bunch of ways to get through that area other than one straight path filled with crap. And you are expected to kill all of it. So have fun. You level up real slow in this game too. I've put around 40 or so hours into this. I'm not even at level 20 yet. So yeah, very slow going game. I'm also only in chapter 3. So yeah, all of these games have a tendency to take 100. I think Fatal Bullet, which is the one I've played the most, I still haven't finished, and I think I've put close to 180 hours in that, and I haven't finished it yet. So, and that's just kind of how all of these games play. They're very slow, and they take a long time. Especially if you want to try to get everything, then they take ungodly amounts of time. But yeah, there's a lot of, hey, here's a quest for you, but oh yeah, by the way, this creature's 10 levels higher than you. Go farm, have fun. And yeah, so I can't really tell you a whole bunch about the story since, I'm not super far into it. Again, I'm only in chapter 3 and there's at least 10, but I don't have like 400 hours to spend on this. So. Thankfully, the combat style it's different from, again, as I said, I've mostly played Fatal Bullet. It has a very different combat style. In this, you have the X button, which is, your standard attack button, and then you can dodge away from enemies with the A button, which always feels really weird because I constantly play games where that's the jump button. And when you're not in combat, it's the jump button, and it keeps screwing me up that I can't jump during combat because I'm so used to it. There's a block button, and then you use the bumper buttons to with other buttons on your controller in order to cast different magics and spells and so on and so forth. Some of them are buff, some of them are like, oh, this is a special sword attack, waha, and you kill things. And yeah, you can also command your 3 allies because you can have up to 3 allies with you. And during combat, whenever they use a special ability, you can tell them, nice job, because that's its own button too. Quite literally, it is the B button. All it does is say, nice job.
Works.
That's it. Yeah.
That works.
And some of you are probably like, why? Anything could be put there. Why that? There's an affection meter in all of these games that as it gets higher, if they're in your party, they do more damage and stuff. I think it also increases their health and things like that in most of the games as well. I assume it does the same in here, but also it raises the amount of damage they do in their combined attacks with you. And if you get high enough, you get special outfits and stuff that they can wear. Sometimes even you get special outfits that you can wear. So I assume it's going to be the same in this game. I think all of the games have had them. I know at least the last 3 have. I believe all of them have, though, and there's like 5 or 6 games. And yeah, so have fun doing that with like 50 different people, because I haven't gotten any of them to the max affection rating yet. And I've, again, 40 hours. Yeah.
That's a hefty amount of time.
Yeah. For anyone who likes collecting weapons and armors and stuff, have your hopes dashed, because fuck you. You can only hold a certain amount of inventory space in this game, and that includes all of your other characters, and the armors and weapons they're carrying is counted in it. So that's great. There isn't any place to store it either, so that's not upsetting at all for me, because I'm totally not a pack rat who would literally have one of everything if I had my choice. No, not at all. It's not driving me out of my mind. But yeah, so you're getting to interact with all these different races of people. There's giants, ogres, kobolds, I think? I can't remember all the races anymore. Oh my. And goblins and stuff, and dark-skinned people. And they are just people, and they just happen to have dark skin. So they're in the dark territory that is seen as evil. Because again, someone did not think this through. Because when you look at the human territory with all the good guys, they're all about as white can get. And the only black people are darker skinned people, because they're more like Indian, I think is what they're supposed to be based off of. They're all in the dark territory, and they all have darker skin, and it's not
it seems
good.
like an oversight. So that, I don't know if we should dwell on that.
It's very hard not to, though. 'Cause it is so in your face. I'm like, no, why would you do this? But yeah, there's
well, that aside.
So yeah, I've basically talked about the story. I've talked about the combat. You get, as Kirito, you get to choose what weapons you use, which is kind of cool. In lots of these games, the main character, you get to choose what kind of weapons they use, and they can become proficient in as many of them as you want. In Kirito, you can use all the different types of weapons. Everyone else can't, sadly. In chat, Thember says that at least one of the good guys is a black guy. Oh, thank God. Okay, so maybe it's not as much of an oversight. Thank God. I don't know if I've met them yet.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's very hard not to bring this up because it's very blatant. I'm sorry. So yeah, lots of the characters are cool. I really like them. There is voice acting in the game. There's a lot of talking in the game. So if you don't like listening to them, I'm sorry. Get used to it and get over it, I guess, because you don't got a choice.
40 hours. Did you enjoy your time with it so far?
Oh, ironically, I don't like the anime for this game, but I absolutely love the games. They're all really fun. I don't know why, but I can't stand the anime. Well, I know exactly why I can't stand the anime. I don't like Kirito as a person, but most of the game, he's still the main character, and I love them anyways, and I don't get it. But yeah, no, this is a great game. I thoroughly enjoy it. These are so fun.
Well, it clocks in at $60. There's also a premium edition or a deluxe edition that includes a premium pass. The premium pass is set to include Ritual of Bonds, volumes 1 and 2, which are storylines and dungeons, and then an Integrity Knights costume set. It's $60 for the game, $85 for the deluxe edition. What are your thoughts?
I think both of them are probably worth it. The game on it, just the base game, is probably going to take you over 100 hours to beat. Easily over 100 hours. The DLC will probably add another 40, 60 hours to it at least when that comes out. Yeah, they don't fuck around when it comes to DLC. Their DLC is serious DLC. This is like, for everyone who likes The Witcher, it's like Blood and Wine. It is some big shit, is what they always add to it. So totally worth it to get the deluxe. The costumes are literally just
costume.
Yeah, they're you can actually change what it looks like your character's wearing. It's not like a special armor or anything. It's just you get to make it look like that. That's it.
Cool. Well, from 180-hour epic surely to another. Next game to talk about is Paintball 3 Candy Match Factory. Developed and published by Crazysoft Limited, released October 26th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $9.99. Boldy's Candy Factory Adventure Paintball 3 is the latest and most delightful installment in the beloved Paintball series. Embark on an exciting saga into Candy Factory as you help Boldy fix the broken machinery. Utilize your quick thinking and clever matching skills to match 3 or more candies near a pipe. Just like in the original Match 3 puzzle game. Jacob, tell us about your time with Paintball 3 Candy Match Factory.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't realize how far from the start of this episode until just now it was going to be before I actually got to review anything. I legit fell asleep. No. It's okay. I had my headphone, I turn off the button, so I don't accidentally cough. Unlike
snore into the headset.
Yeah, no, literally. My wife came downstairs and she's like, you were snoring, right? And I'm like, no. I was just resting my eyes. And she's like, aren't you recording? And I'm like, yeah, so they're just talking. And I'm like, you fell asleep. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You were snoring. Whatever.
Well, anyway, did this game make you sleep or did it make you enjoy it? Did you enjoy yourself? I can't talk, whatever.
So we've reviewed other games by this publisher or by this dev before, and they are. I don't want to the thing is I don't want to just call them simple games. They very much resemble a high quality Newgrounds game from late.
So a simple game.
It's no, that. I mean. Yes, but no. It's just the graphics look dated now, cheap and dated nowadays, but it has a very specific style to it. I don't really mind. Again, as I said, it's late aughts, however you want to call it, O's, 2009-ish Newgrounds Flash game.
Early mobile times.
Yeah, it's just...
It has a distinct style to it.
Right. And it's just, some people may just poo-poo it and just be like, ugh. But I don't know. I don't mind it. It's simple. It's kid-friendly. But what this is that it's a match 3 game, so you have to match 3 colors or shapes together as you go through the factory and fix up all this different machinery. And it starts off, simply enough. You just have to get X amount of matches, and then they start tossing in other stuff. Like, here are some new balls that, like this one's stone and it can't get moved, or like this one can go with any of them. Like, if you've played literally any match 3 game, like, these are all standard things with them. However, pretty quickly, honestly, the game starts ramping up its difficulty and like scenarios that it has for everything. Like, one of them, like what's the name of the guy who owns the candy factory? Don't say Wonka, Aki.
That was all I was going to say too.
I know you were going to say, and I'm just like, shut up, Aki. Don't
game,
open up your
Baldy?
mouth. Yeah, Baldy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Baldy.
Boldy. Like, bold as in like Bold and the Beautiful, or bald as in like Captain Jean-Luc Picard?
Oh.
Okay. So Boldy, like, there's one where he gets trapped in between 2 fans, and like you have to get X amount of matches and like just sync like the character's like position just correct, so he falls into the safety pit or whatever. Which also, I don't know why you have safety pits in a candy factory, but whatever. But it's stuff like that, or like you have to get like X amount of matches, and like there's no yellow balls or something like that, or you like if you use a yellow ball, like you lose or something. It's stuff like that, and it does ramp it up pretty quickly, but it never feels too difficult, like which I thought was kind of nice. On the other hand, though, the achievements for this game are nuts. Like, they're like, I don't know that I'm ever gonna attempt trying to get like 1,000 on this, because some of them are just like, oh, you have to complete this level in like 30 seconds, and it's just like, I don't know how that's happening. Whether the dev actually managed to do it, I mean, props to them, or anyone else. But yeah, I mean, it's a simple match 3 game. If you like that kind of casual gameplay and puzzle style, then this isn't a bad game. Like, it's there,
It's just not a looker.
Right. Like, yeah. I mean, as I said, if you like the genre, you'll find plenty to like in here. But it's not on the same level of visuals as like Bejeweled or oh crud, what's that one that King does now? Oh, what is it, Candy Crush? Yeah, it is Candy Crush. Stuff like that. It's far more simple than that.
It clocks in at $9.99. What are your thoughts on Paintball 3?
I would have been more cool with like a $5 price tag, but $10 isn't bad either. If you're a fan of the genre, I'd recommend going with the 10. But if you're looking just for like some chill entertainment, or or you're an achievement hunter, you're probably going to want to wait for a sale.
All right. Next up, Inescapable, No Rules, No Rescue, developed by Dreamloop Games, published by Aksys Games, released October 19th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $49.99. Inescapable, No Rules, No Rescue is a social thriller set in a tropical island resort. You've been kidnapped and forced to participate in a twisted reality TV show with 10 strangers. At the end of their stay, they'll each receive $500,000 if they survive. Aki, what is Inescapable?
Okay. This is a visual novel that really focuses on social interaction, and that's about it. It's very similar to something like Danganronpa, except for it doesn't have all the good stuff in Danganronpa to help you keep track of things. So in this, you play as Harrison, a Brit who is in Spain, and he's about to head home, I guess, to go party with his friends. And a bunch of people get on this bus because they're all traveling via a bus. And then suddenly the doors close and gas fills the thing and everyone passes out.
I saw Battle Royale. That shit happens way too often.
I know, right? And you wake up in a big metal room and you have to get out. And you play one of the only puzzles in the entire game, which made me very sad because I was expecting so many more of them. And once you get out, you get to meet Maria, who tells you to call her Mia, a young woman, and she's like, hey, yeah, you were the last one to come out of one of these, and you look around, and there's 11 of the fucking things. And she's like, yeah, everyone who was on our bus is here. We were all gassed and kidnapped. Yay. We should head to where this thing says there's a resort and go interact with people. And you're like, okay, sure. I don't know. I don't have any better ideas. So you follow. And there is literally a resort there. Except for the only people there are the kidnapped people. There's no workers or anything, but it is a very nice place. And you get to introduce yourselves to everybody. And after that, the game basically tells you, okay, you have like 3 or 4 parts to the day. Every action you do takes up one part of that day. Anything you do can cause other things to change. So say you interact with these people. Well, maybe some of the other people aren't where they were in the next part of the day, or something like that. So you go around and you figure out who you want to speak to throughout the day. Not only which group, but which individual in that group you want to talk to, because you can only do one, because apparently they talk for like 15 hours. I don't know. And yeah, you are, once everyone's together, you're all called by these 2 crazy sisters. One of them is nice and mellow and logical and methodical, and the other one's batshit insane. And I really like that character because she's super fun. It's like, she's like, shut up. If you don't listen to us, we're going to fucking nuke you. And I'm like, all right, cool. I like this girl. Like, that is her entire personality. She's very violent. She's very fast, and it's fantastic. Where the other one's like all snooty and like, you're all just going to do what we say. You've all getting kidnapped because this is going to be our new internet reality show, and therefore it required kidnapping. And you're basically told more or less that, again, if you survive there for 6 months, you get $500,000. If you survive, you need to keep it interesting. And because this is an island out in the middle of nowhere, no one is coming for you. You don't have any way of communicating with anyone off the island, so there is no rescue. No one's coming for you. No one knows where you are, so fuck you. Also, since this is in international waters and not tied to any country, there's no laws here. Have fun. And they don't care what any of you do, as long as you keep things interesting. That's all they care about, because people are watching you online. So they're not like, well, we're not going to tell you to kill each other, but if you do, it would be really interesting. And yeah, so that's kind of the game. After that, you just go and you talk to people. And sometimes talking to people, unbeknownst to you, can end up causing certain individuals to not like each other, which can, cause fights to happen, and it could cause someone to get killed, and so on and so forth. I presume there's probably a way to keep literally everyone alive in this game, but then again, there's also an option to where all you do in a day is just play games. So, because the first couple of days you're on this island, you're trying to find a way off of it, and you're trying to see what else this resort has, because a lot of the buildings originally, or a lot of the rooms, start off locked up because they're like, well, if you're interesting, maybe we'll unlock some of the stuff for you because we want ratings. Fuck you people. So yeah, eventually you get access to a game room, basically, and there's a little arcade that has a few games on it. There's a pool table. I think you can play it. I haven't bothered because I've been stuck on the arcade. So I'm trying to get the top scores. I don't think there's an achievement for it. I'm just obsessive. Yeah, I'm bad. And yeah, so other words, you're really all you're doing is just talking with people. And hoping that you don't step on any landmines, more or less. Social landmine. Well, I guess there could be a literal landmine somewhere on here too. So yeah, it's not like, oh, find the killer like Danganronpa is. It's more like, how do you interact with people? Because that also changes your character's personality. Because like there's some people in the group that are super suspicious of everybody, and if you interact with them, your character starts to get a little more paranoid as the game plays. And there's some people who just do not give a shit. They're just wild and free, and they're like, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. And if you interact with them mostly, guess what? Free spirit and free love, man. And yeah, so it's more about how does the game end for your character, more or less. It's not like, oh, here's an ending where everyone lived, here's an ending where everyone died. It's more, here's an ending where your character now acts like this and believes these things. Oh, and by the way, any combination of these people might be alive or dead. So it's more about your character's story and how they interact with people, more so than whether any of these schmucks make it off the island, which is very weird for me, because usually it's the other way around. So yeah, this is also an incredibly long game. The dev stated... How much time have
you put into this one?
I think I've gotten maybe 10-ish hours into this one, maybe, I think. And I'm nowhere near the 6-month mark. I looked online just to see how long this game was, and they said your first playthrough should probably take about 40 hours.
Oh, wow.
To 100% beat the game, get all the achievements, they think around 90 hours, because there's multiple playthroughs. However, obviously, once you've gotten one playthrough, you've also seen a whole bunch of the specific interactions and all the generic ones, obviously. So
yeah,
now you can focus on just seeing the new stuff by skipping everything. So yeah, there are some issues with this game, I found, for me personally. Namely, nothing is kept track of in this game. You can befriend people and make people very pissed off at you, and you don't know how close or far away from these people you are, because there's nothing keeping track of that. There's no route maps or anything on this, which for games like this I usually would consider them to be a must, because these games get complex real quick. And because of that, I'm not quite sure what puts you on any specific track, because obviously you're probably not going to just interact with one or two people for the entire playthrough to try and be like, okay, now I'm on this track. So you don't really know what exactly is progressing anything, because you can have a whole bunch of conversations, and a lot of them, I don't know if they lead anywhere or change my character's personality or anything. So it'd be nice if if they did an update that included some way to keep track of some of this stuff, just so you could look at it and be like, okay, I need to interact with this person some more to get them to like me, or I think because I've been interacting with these people too much, I might need to interact with these people in order to like more stabilize my personality or whatever. It'd be nice if there was just something that we could look at to have an idea of what's going on in game. But other than that, I've really liked it. It does start off really slow though, which might hurt it. The first few hours of this game are kind of boring, actually, realistically speaking, and because you're just getting to know each other, and it's basically just like, oh yeah, I like pizza and long walks on the beach. Okay, I'm not looking at your fucking Tinder profile. Give me something useful to know about you, please. I beg you. It's like they don't say anything like that. Which, I mean, it makes sense. You're not going to tell a bunch of strangers your life story in real life, but in a video game, hearing banal shit is very boring, and that's what the first few hours of this game is. Just banality to the extreme. But after you get through that, the game picks up a lot. I'm not sure how many people are going to sit through all of that, though, to get to the good stuff. And there's no real way of fixing that, just because obviously that is part of the story. You need to get to know these people. And obviously you can't just rewrite the entire opening, sadly.
Yeah.
So if anyone gets this, please just give it like 5 hours. Just give it 5 hours. It's a 90-hour. Give it 5, and you will like it. I promise. However, there's also another thing. If you don't like the characters, then go ahead and return it, because the characters are characters. They don't particularly change. Like as I said, Maria. She's a very homely person. She's down to earth. She wants to organize things to get everyone together. She's very on top of stuff, very considerate, all this other stuff. Then you have Sasha. They're non-binary, and they're kind of an asshole the entire time. They don't want to give you any information. They're only there basically to mock other people and to ignore everyone because they don't want to talk to any of us. They don't know us. There's Valerie, who is, I believe, French, because everyone here is from different countries too. And she's like the Harris to a perfume company, and she's a snooty bitch, and that is her entire personality. She is rude. She thinks everyone's beneath her. Then there's Lumi. She's like the super snart.
Are you just going to tell us every character in the game?
I could, yes, if you'd like.
No, we don't have the time for that, Aki. Come on. It's a $50 game. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's try it. I would try it on Steam. If you don't like it, if you don't like the characters, then return it before your time runs out. But if you get along with the characters, you're gonna end up really enjoying this. And hopefully most of the characters you like it, hopefully. Otherwise, I think it's good. I had fun with it.
Cool. All right, next up is Fur Squadron, developed by Raptor Claw, published by Dolores Entertainment, released October 27th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5 for $6.99. Fur Squadron is an arcade space shooter on rails which follows the adventure of a team of elite pilots during what seems at first a routine training in virtual reality. Jacob, what is Fur Squadron?
Okay, good. For a minute, I was really scared that my headset wasn't on for a second. So Fur Squadron is it's not like a flight simulator, but it's a sci-fi flight shooter, like on rails kind of shooter. Very much in the vein of the original Star Fox and Star Fox 64. And you're playing these animal characters who are most definitely not, the Star Fox main cast. And you're going through this training simulator because, it's been a little bit rusty and they're checking you out. And now all of a sudden you have to do all these missions. And again, it's as you said, things aren't as they seem. I will say this game is tough. I don't remember Star Fox. I don't remember either of the two early Star Fox games being this rough. But I've been playing it for a bit now, and I have yet to get past the third level. I think there's 5, so it may actually just be like a very short story. But holy crap! Once you get to the space station thing, it's just yep, fuck you. It's unexpectedly tough. You can easily die on the first mission, in the training thing. And if I've noticed, if I'm not paying attention, I'll still die on it. Even though it's usually now the third one that I just get stuck at. The controls, they feel fine for the Xbox. It's just getting all the laser blasts in and destroying destroying everything that you need to as quickly as you can using your missiles properly. Because the game also doesn't there is a little box that has what your controls are. A for your laser and X for your missile. And you really don't need much more beyond that, but it's just, good Lord, this game throws a lot at you pretty quickly. And I'm playing on the normal mode, so I can't imagine.
There's harder difficulties too, aren't there?
I believe so, because each level has 3 different things, locks on them, and I've only unlocked the first rounds for them. So yeah, I'm assuming that there's a hard and an insane mode for these things, and I'm just I can't even imagine how insane those modes are. I'm struggling on this game. It's enjoyable, and it's a great throwback to those old Star Fox games. It's very much a love letter to the series, and also, it doesn't hurt to get similar games out there on other systems that aren't by Nintendo. So if you're a fan of those games, by all means, I highly recommend this, but just know you're in for a challenge.
Oh, well, it is $7. What are your thoughts?
Totally worth it. Even if you're just constantly getting your ass kicked in the first 2 levels, you're still going to be yeah, all right, this is a good $7.
All right, well, we got one final game to talk about tonight, and that is called Transformers EarthSpark Expedition. Developed by Tessera Studios, published by Outright Games. We are Outright ambassadors, and that is how we got the code. Released October 13th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Bumblebee is facing his greatest mission, reclaim the ancient Cybertronian technology scattered across the globe before Mandroid and his henchbots can use them to destroy Earth's cities. With Optimus Prime's guidance and you at the controls, Bumblebee will grow strong enough to take on an army of robotic enemies in bare metal combat, find the lost technology, and unlock powerful new attack combos and abilities along the way. Also, a big shout out to Outright Games, because we got a copy of this to give away in chat right now, so pay attention to that. Jacob, tell us about Transformers EarthSpark Expedition.
So Transformers EarthSpark Expedition, which for the rest of this review, I'm just going to call it Transformers. It is set in, I guess it's a new cartoon show for it. I can't follow it. I don't understand the Transformers canon and whether all of these shows are, whether they're all actually connected, or it's oh, well, this is the Transformers 5 universe, and this is the movie universe, and this is G1. I don't know. I can't make sense of it. But Bumblebee is currently having to lead a small group of Autobots, and of course he's very unsure of himself, which I thought he would have gotten over this whole unsure of himself kind of thing back in 1987, but it's 2023 and apparently he still is. Okay. And so it's all up to Bumblebee. He's the only one that you're going to be playing as, which, a little disappointing, but fine. I mean, it's his turn, his time in the sun. And with this, there is some enemy called Mandroid, which, I mean, I know that there's those Transformers that look like humans, and I've never heard of this guy, so I don't know if he's one of them or if this is some other bad guy, but I'm confused as to why Megatron's not present for this, but whatever. It's some guy named Mandroid, and I don't really know what he does. The game doesn't really explain it either. I guess you really have to watch the show. I don't know. This is one of the few times where I feel some sort of preview thing where it's previously on Transformers. This would have been helpful for everyone else. All right. So anyway, so it is a 3D action game where you're running around as Bumblebee, and of course you can transform in between the car mode and the robot. And the car mode is really just gets you to point A to point B faster, and there's like a nitro boost thing that you eventually get as an ability. And robot mode is spent jumping from point A to point B, shooting and punching the bad guys, which is the other robot, I guess they're Decepticons, but I don't think that they ever actually fully said that they're Decepticons. I'm not sure, but it's either way, they're just evil robots that, Bumblebee has to destroy. And you're given these huge open maps that you have the ability to explore, which is pretty awesome because, then it's not like other outright games where you're very much limited by the environment, where they clearly want you to have a specific path. You can take whatever path you want. You have to free in each map. You have to free these camps, which is just like areas where they're 10 of the evil robots are hanging out, and you just have to destroy them all. And then the camp is liberated, and then you put up a little Bumblebee flag, which I thought was kind of cute. And then after you've defeated those, then you're allowed to work your way into the epic bases, which is really just you've got more stuff to do. It's not epic in nature. There's this huge robot spider thing that's drilling into the earth to recover these Cybertronian artifacts, and which is what you're preventing Mandroid from doing anyway, but okay. So anyways, in the epic camps, it's you just have to destroy them. You have to beat the boss of that camp, and then you also have to destroy generators, which then when you get to Mandroid's big bases is also the same kind of thing that you have to do. I'm 50% of the way through the game. I haven't beaten it yet. I will say this, it does have some challenging fights to it, but the game also doesn't quite make clear as to how you're supposed to be leveling. Bumblebee doesn't so much level up, but you just gain currency from fights and doing side missions, which the side missions are usually either just race from point A to point B, hit all the targets, or destroy all the evil robots. There's not much variety to them, but whatever. It gets you the currency that you need. And the currency comes in the form of new skills. So stuff like the med packs work more. You have more nitro. You have an extended health bar. And then there's just combos that you can unlock, which do various damage. Some of them look pretty cool. My favorite is the one that Bumblebee goes from robot. He punches up the bad robot for a bit and then turns into the car mode and does this slam down at the same time. It looks pretty cool. But there's those, and then there are other special moves. But then as you progress through the game, Bumblebee gets these Cybertronian artifacts, and you get new abilities that way, which also kind of seem like abilities that he should have had in the first place. But I don't, it's a kid's game, so I'm not really going to question that so much. But one thing I found kind of annoying was that to get the grapple hook, you have to beat the second world. Well, the game doesn't explain that. However, you find a bunch of areas where the game's you can only use a grapple hook to jump up to this place. And so here I am thinking oh, this must be over in the ability tree. And so I'm burning all of this currency that I'm gaining through all the fights and the side quests and stuff like that, hoping that I'll land on the skill that I need. And it just turns out, no, you just have to keep beating up Mandroid's various bases and just progress through the story to eventually get these. So that was kind of annoying for me. But also it's also I found annoying was the map. The map in the game doesn't really give that much information in terms of like where you're able to go. And on top of it, you're allowed to set waypoints, but they don't do anything. It's not like they actually show up in the world. It's not like there's a yellow light off in the distance. Like, oh, okay, that's where I need to be going. So you're constantly flipping between the map and the actual game. And on top of it, the map is the select button. And I'm used to that thing being on start. And like, there were so many times I kept like hitting the start menu and it's like, ah, crap. And then I had to back out, hit the select thing, and then finally look at the map. And it's just,
that's a you problem.
That is not just a me thing.
I think of the map as the view button. So I don't know.
Well, I found it. I wish I could have remapped it, which is a regular complaint from us for outright games stuff.
Yeah, controller remapping should always be.
Yeah, I mean, I get it why they don't do it, for kids games, but at the same time, as Stevie likes to talk about my sausage fingers, it would be nice to be able to remap those.
Daddy, why is every button a jump button? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like it's the Transformers game. Like it's not gonna set the world on fire. Like it's fine. Like I realize also the target audience for it too. I mean, it's a kid's game. Like, and even like a young teenager game, and like provided that they're not already playing like Fortnite and all that other kind of stuff. Like, because as I was playing this last night, and I thought to myself, like, I would have gone nuts with this game when I was 13. Like, I would have had a ball. Like thinking back to like the other similar games that I was playing at the time. Yeah, this would have been right up my alley. But I don't know whether this is up the alley of like, 12, 13-year-olds in 2023,
No.
So yeah, like it's okay. Oh, and the other thing I had to talk about, oh my gosh, going back to the whole exploration thing, and the open worldness of the maps in this game. So it's plenty of fun to try to find alternate ways or like to get into bases and stuff, which I've been doing. But that means it's also very like you're going to end up going into areas where I don't think the developers specifically thought we'd be going. And they're more often than not, I kept getting trapped behind rocks. And like I couldn't glitch my way out. I couldn't move. I couldn't like it was like I couldn't even like transform into a car and fit into the hole, which I clearly should have been able to like fit through. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like some of the boundaries definitely need to be worked on, and then the camera also has a tendency of glitching out when you get into like weird areas. Again, that I think the devs didn't necessarily think that you'd get into, but they're right there on the map. So, I mean, this is stuff I figure could be fixed in a patch, and maybe the devs are already on it. I mean, but it's not the greatest, but it's also like it's not bad either. It's just very.
Well, it clocks in at $40. What are your thoughts on Transformers EarthSpark Expedition?
If you've got a kid that's into Transformers, then yeah, I would say definitely go with the $40. Or if you're somebody who's just easily entertained and like you're not looking for anything, too complex.
It's a great game for me. Cool.
Yeah, like you're not looking for anything like too complex.
Too taxing.
Yeah, $40. Yeah, $40 isn't bad. But otherwise, I would wait for a sale. Or if you're a Transformers fan that is like a big fan of like the Cybertron trilogy of games, this is not like them.
That's a whole different audience. Those are
that's
for
what I'm
more
saying.
mature.
Like, those kind of adults,
players.
that you're not. This is not going to scratch your itch on those. So
right.
I like it, but
yeah. Well, that is it for this episode. We made it through another one. Yes, it's okay. It was decent enough, I guess. Music this episode, since we ended it with a kids game, how about we play some Halloween music from a kids game? The OneUps doing the Bane of Kanto from Pokemon.
Oh.
Sure. I have no idea what that is. Let's go for it.
Pokemon. Pokemon is a kids game. We just reviewed a kids game.
Sure.
So, see how my thought process works?
Not really, no, but...
Is it either that or Splatterhouse? So I'm going with Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon's probably the better one on that.
Really?
Yeah, well, thanks to you two for being here. Thanks to Bri for coming on doing her thing. Does anyone have any final words to end the show?
Keep it clean, Aki.
I can't say anything then.